We are back at home, and the Raiders are here to take on number 1 overall pick Trey Dutch and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last week, Josh Jacobs and the Raiders were unfortunately taken down by the Denver Broncos as we fall to 5-6 on the season as Jean-Marc Aldrick gets his revenge for his Week 1 loss, as now the Broncos and Raiders have split the season series. But now at 5-6 and 2 consecutive losses, we are finding ourselves struggling to stay in the playoff picture as we really need a win this week. And the Buccaneers, thankfully, haven't got off to the best of starts this season. Unfortunately for us, though, we will not have Colton Miller, but they will not have Tristan Wirfs. So both of our teams are losing their top left tackle, so it should be a good day for the edge rushers. The Buccaneers opted to take Trey Dutch, number 1 overall, passing up on Byron Rohit. They went with Dutch and are rolling with Gardner Minshew at quarterback as they are in a transition period. The team was still not in a position to succeed this year, even with a potentially good quarterback, as they only have 3 wins on the season. But we will see if we can get back up to 500, pull ourselves back into the playoff picture. It's Raiders, Buccaneers up next. Buccaneers will come out first as Gardner Minshew leads this Buccaneers offense out of the field. And honestly, Gardner Minshew's had a pretty solid season up until this point, as he is taking control of this very poor Buccaneers team in the post-Brady era. As Rachaad White will line up in the backfield, he is the starting running back. This team still has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, though they are, past their primes potentially. Though Mike Evans, see if he can keep going with his 1,000-yard season stretch, as on the first throw of the game, he overshoots his man, and it's 3rd and 8, spreading the field, Godwin in the slot. And Minshew's going to run for it, and Gardner Minshew has the first down. Everyone ran deep, and Minshew opened up the middle. And on first down, it's an incomplete pass, tipped around and dropped, as now they will hand it off. Rachaad White will take the carry and will get brought down by Marcus Peters, but he got to a 3rd and inches situation where Minshew overshoots it. And it'll be Thomas DeShong in the offense coming onto the field. DeShong put up another 60-plus rushing yards last week against the Broncos, and will be a threat to potentially hit 1,000 yards on the ground if he can have a couple of more big weeks, as Josh Jacobs on the first carry of the game, and Josh Jacobs breaks a tackle, and Jacobs will have 23 yards on the first carry of the game as he is starting off hot. He is nearing 1,000 yards as DeShong on the read option gets chased down, and that was Trey Dutch chasing him down as they go stretch left. We go Jacobs, first down to the 46-yard line. DeShong will throw for the first time, and he's got Jaden Sharew in between 2 defenders, and that's a great throw and catch. They hand it back off to Jacobs. He tries to cut to the outside, and he gets brought down. That's going to be a 4-yard gain. Pistol formation. DeShong to throw. Quick outside. Missed it. Jacoby Myers was standing there in a curl around, and it was just too far to the left as it's a sack. And it's Shaq Barrett on 3rd down. Forces the Raiders to settle for a long 4th down field goal try as Daniel Carlson will boot it through. 3-0 Raiders to start this game. First play on the drive for the Bucs. It's an RPO and southward. Great recognition to come up and knock it out of Evans' hands, as now Minshew will roll and throw it out of bounds on 2nd down. He has not completed a pass yet, as now on 3rd down, Minshew with a clean pocket will bail, roll left, and just throw it away. He had a clean pocket. He didn't need to do that. Raiders will take over as Jacobs on the outside will get brought down by Carlton Davis, as it'll be 2nd down and 10. DeShong to throw. He backs up quite a bit and rolls and throws it away. A little dangerous there, is now on 3rd down. DeShong nowhere to go with the football. He just checks it down to Shanny. He'll be basically conceding possession with the football as Jamel Dean brings him down, and Minshew, can he complete a pass? He's yet to do so as he throws outside, and there it is, first completion for Minshew. It'll be 2nd and 5 as only a couple of minutes to go in the quarter. They have Cade Otton on the catch, and Otton gets the first down. Now stretch right, they go Rachaad White, and White was a little hesitant there, and Devin Bush shoots the gap. Now tossing it right to Rachaad White, and he gets brought down by 2 defenders. It's going to be 3rd and manageable, though, as Minshew, quick slant, there it is, Mike Evans with his catch, and Evans gets the first down and more as they go Rachaad White once again. He gets 3, and on second down, Minshew sets up the screen for White. They flip it out to him, gets a nice block, and he has Evans. Mike Evans pushes him ahead for the first down. Good job from Evans to get that first down as Minshew gets sacked. That's Max Crosby getting in there, and now a toss play once again. And these outside runs have not really worked so much for the Buccaneers. As now 3rd and 18, Minshew steps up, throws, and he's got it! That's Russell Gage, and that's going to be 1st and goal for the Buccaneers at the 6-yard line. They hand it up inside White, breaks a tackle from Devin Bush, and gets to the 2-yard line. Now under center, they go to White again, and there's Max Crosby to blow it up, and it's going to be 3rd and goal. Minshew to throw, stepping up, and he's got Russell Gage. Touchdown Buccaneers, and that's going to be a 7-3 lead for Tampa Bay as the offense takes over with 10 to go in the second quarter. Jacobs takes the first carry of the drive. He gets 6 yards, and Deshaun to the air. Will throw outside. Michael Mayer's got it for the first down. Pistol formation as Cheru is in motion. We flip it out to him, and one of the NFL's leaders in yards after catch will get us 4 as Deshaun will throw outside, and that's almost intercepted. That's the second time they've missed on a curl route. Maybe got to store that one in the playbook and not really go back to it as he's sacked by Washington, and it will be 4th down. It will be Buccaneers football as Rachaad White up the middle, and I think the Raiders have struggled a lot more with the up the middle runs than they have outside this season, so it would be best for the Buccaneers to attack the middle of the field with Devin Bush and Divine Diablo in run defense as they go up the middle, and there it is. It's right there for Rachaad White, all that open field. It's a lot easier to run up on their interior line rather than running it on Max Crosby, because Max Crosby can only do so much as Rachaad White up the middle for another big run, and I think the Buccaneers have figured it out. They figured out what so many other teams have figured out this season. Our interior run defense is non-existent as Rachaad White for another solid gain as they go play action. Minshew checks it down to Evans, and he gets the first down just enough. Now they go shotgun pass, throw it to Evans, and he's got it in front of Nate Hobbs, and that's a bit of a mismatch. 5'8" Hobbs on 6'5" Mike Evans. This is a flag on the first down carry, and this one will be coming back as it sets them back on 1st and goal from the 15-yard line, as now they're going to have to go to the air. They throw quick, and that's caught. It's not going to go very far as they get about 5. 2nd down and goal from the 10. Throwing underneath, they missed it. Now it's going to be 3rd and goal, and you got to go to the air here. Minshew will throw, rolling left, and he's almost picked off by Southward, but it's going to be a field goal try, and the Buccaneers knock it through 10-3, and the Raiders now with just 2 minutes to go have to get something to maybe get in maybe a tie game. It's 10-6 at half. Something would be nice, some momentum. Cannot be struggling this much against the Buccaneers, who are still one of the worst teams in the league. 3rd and 2 now is Deshaun. What does he got for us? He's going to go inside, and there's Vita Vea. And it's going to be 4th down, and this Raiders offense is going for it. A risky call, but it pays off as Michael Mayer has the first down. And the Raiders felt like they needed to do something, and a risky call pays off. Deshaun quickly ducks out of bounds after a 2-yard run, saving some clock. Good play from Deshaun. Quick slant. That's Jaden Cheru. And Cheru has it to near midfield, hurrying up. Now with a minute to go, play action. Deshaun will float one up top for Meyer, and it's incomplete. The defender tracked it down very nicely. And Deshaun now will roll, stepping up. And Deshaun, 1st down and more. Thomas Deshaun's using his legs to great success on this drive. As Deshaun to throw. He's bailing again, and he's got nowhere to go with the football. He's just going to throw it away. And on 2nd down with about 50 seconds to play, Deshaun will go quick outside, and that's caught. Nice throw. That was Jacoby Myers. They hand it off on 3rd down, and Jacobs doesn't get it. 4th and 1. We're going for it. Jacobs on the carry again, and it's going to be a 1st down with 22 seconds to go. 1 timeout. Deshaun rolling, throwing on the run, and if he was able to set his feet, that might have been a touchdown to Shanny, but it's not, as Deshaun running out of time to make something happen. He throws it out of bounds. And now there's only 12 seconds to play. Deshaun to the air once again. He's going to throw it in double coverage, and he got away with one. 4th down. Deshaun tried too hard to make a play. Didn't pay for it, though, as the field goal is good, and the half comes to an end. and it is 10-6. The Buccaneers are in front. As on that last drive for the Buccaneers, they figured out the formula. Run it inside on this team, and it doesn't matter who you have or what you do. As long as you're running inside, you're succeeding against us. The Raiders, on the other hand, it took a couple of, risky fourth down calls to get us something to go our way, and maybe that'll be the strategy going forward in the second half, to just call some of these risky, more aggressive play calls on fourth down. But we need to get something going, as the Buccaneers defense has played very well, not let us in the end zone quite yet. We'll see if we can get back to 500 in the second half. The second half is here, and the Raiders have the football as Jacobs will take the first carry, and we will get 5 yards as Deshaun now under center. Play action, roll out right, and Deshaun will roll and stop and throw, and he missed Sharu, who had a step. Michael Mayer is in motion on third down as Jacobs take a carry, and he will get just 3 yards. Fourth down once again, deep in our own territory, and we are going for it. And I said that might be what we have to do in this second half, is make some risky calls, and we do just that as the risky call pays off, and Deshaun will get hit as he's thrown. Ball up in the air, and Shanny can't make the jump ball catch. You do not want your 5'7" receiver in a jump ball situation, but you do want Thomas Deshaun and his legs running in the open field as they go with the read option once again, and Deshaun will just dive ahead and get 7 yards. Deshaun now on 2nd and 3, a little tired. We're going to give Jacobs the ball, and Josh Jacobs will have the first down. You got to score in a drive like this when you convert a fourth down inside your own 30. As Jacobs falls ahead for 10, not quite the first down. It's now 2nd and inches. It's usually a shot down, and they take the shot. It goes right out of bounds. Now 3rd and inches. Deshaun, quick screen left, and that's Sharu. It's going to be a first down. Now nearing the red zone, we go with a little run design for Deshaun, who tries to cut it outside. Maybe had a late inside. Not the best play from Deshaun's part, but it'll be 2nd and 13, and he can make up for it in the air as they throw. Jacobs can't hang on. 3rd and 13. What has Deshaun got for us here? He rolls and tries to step up in the pocket, and that is the first overall pick. Trey Dutch with a sack, and it's going to lead to a field goal try, and it is good. 10-9. Raiders down by 1 as Rachaad White will find himself in no man's land, as it's a tackle for no gain, as Minshew under pressure misses Rachaad White, who had a lot of room to run if he caught that football. Instead, it'll be Minshew firing on play action. First down, Mike Evans. And Minshew now catching the snap with one hand, throws it deep, and Minshew got it caught, and it's going to be a broken tackle for Marcus Peters. How do you catch that football and stay in bounds and break the tackle? Minshew now has it on the 1 yard line. Minshew now throwing quick out, and a little too quick as it was pressure getting in, but they will have 3rd and goal. Rachaad White breaks the tackle. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. And that is an unfortunate catch and run to set up a touchdown from Rachaad White. That is just so hard of a play to make, but they make it, and it's an 8-point game. Josh Jacobs will take the carry, and we need to put a touchdown on the board. A field goal just isn't cutting it. We can't win this game by only kicking field goals, as Deshaun will set us up 3rd and 5. Play action, rollout once again, and Deshaun will stop and throw to Kalen Shanny, and that's a big play. 45-yard line, play action once again on first down, and he's rolling left, and Deshaun throwing, hit as he's thrown, flag on the play, but that's going to be an illegal forward pass. He just barely crossed the line of scrimmage, got a little indecisive with it. Lucky that play just fell innocently to the dirt, as now it's 2nd and 15. Quick throw outside, and 2 men fighting for the football. Neither end up with it. It's 3rd and 15, and Deshaun will throw to Josh Jacobs, who has it. Jacobs lined up out wide, and he's got the first down catch, and it's going to be a scoring position. We are in field goal range, but we need more. We need a touchdown as Jacobs gets us into the red zone. Read option. Deshaun, can he get the edge? He gets a little bit as he dives ahead for 5 yards. Now quick throw outside on the RPO. Jacoby Myers has a first down. Goal to go for the Raiders. As the 3rd quarter is winding down, it's going to be Jacobs, and it will be 2 yards to go as the fourth quarter kicks off. Deshaun to throw, and it's caught wide open. It's Michael Mayer for the touchdown, and the Raiders are a 2-point conversion away for the tie. Deshaun incomplete. Threw it in 2 defenders, and it was broken up. As now Rachaad White and this offense will try to run some clock as they are really desperate to get their 4th win of the season. Minshew throws underneath, and it is caught once again by Cade Otton as it will be 3rd and 4. Trying to hit the seams, and it's dropped. That was almost an amazing play, but he just couldn't hang on. Deshaun now flipping it out on a triple option to Josh Jacobs. He'll get 5. Clock is now at 10 minutes to go as Deshaun stepping up. Now will run and go right, and maybe could have had a bit more yards as he cut to the outside, but he tried to go for the big play as Deshaun on the RPO gets hit immediately by Shaq Barrett. It sets up 4th down. He couldn't get the throw off. As Deshaun now, we will go for it again on 4th down. Will it work out this time? Not this time. Servasia Dennis breaks it up. Buccaneers take over, and was going to catch up with this eventually. You couldn't keep converting these 4th downs as the Buccaneers now will get good field position. And Minshew will throw underneath. There's Chris Godwin, who's been held in check for majority of this game when he's lined up in the slot. I think Nate Hobbs has done a good job, but now in the 4th quarter, he's starting to get going as Godwin brings him into the red zone. And Minshew will throw outside, and he's got Otton once again, who breaks a tackle and gets near the sidelines for a gain of 7. Rachaad White will be out of the backfield, but they throw behind to Mike Evans, and it's incomplete. 3rd down and 3. Quick pass, and there's a catch for Chris Godwin. Right as I speak about us holding him in check, he's starting to really fire up on this drive as they miss the touchdown throw to Otton. So close, but Minshew now stepping up, hitting Evans, and it's going to be 3rd and goal from the 3. Minshew, what has he got? Quick pass, that's a touchdown. Chris Godwin, 4 catches on that drive, and he puts the Bucs up by 9 as Deshaun and the offense don't have a lot of time to make something happen as Jacobs doesn't get much. And now we go read option. We're still committed to getting a run going as we can get some big run plays as Deshaun breaks a tackle, sets us up 3rd and 3, taken to the air. He's rolling again. Deshaun's going to go for the 1st down, and he's got it, and a lot more as Deshaun gets out of bounds. Deshaun knows how to play in these chaotic situations. He did it all year in college last year, but he floats one to Michael Mayer, and it's caught. 1st down and a whole lot more. And now it's to the 27-yard line. Deshaun's rolling, heaving for a double coverage, and it's called by Jaden Sharew. That was in triple coverage, hurrying up as the offense, and they hand it off to Josh Jacobs, and it's a touchdown. That was one of the craziest drives of the year for the Raiders as Deshaun works his magic and gets us to a 2-point game. It's up to the defense to make a stop. They throw outside quickly for Chris Godwin. It's caught, and it will be play action, and Max Crosby's got the sack, and the 2-minute warning is going to hit just about after this play potentially as they go Minshew to the air. He's rolling, throwing for the 1st down, and it's broken up by Southward. And we are going to get the ball with 2 minutes to go. Not quite the 2-minute warning. We used the timeout that we would have had right there to get a run play in. It doesn't get us anything, but 2nd and 11. And here he goes. Deshaun is running again, and he's got the 1st down, and he gets out of bounds. And we are at about midfield now, as we are just in need of a field goal to win this game. As Shanny catches the quick bubble screen, we have time to, take things slowly if we need to. Jacobs, we can't take it that slowly, though. It's 3rd and 9, and now we need a big play. Jacoby Myers underneath, and Myers doesn't quite get it, and it's going to be an injury timeout. Now we have 4th and 3, needing the conversion. Deshaun, quick pass. Michael Mayer has it, secure hands, gets us the 1st down. Buccaneers call timeout, and now we are in field goal range, running the football. Deshaun handing it. Jacobs has the 1st down, and a lot more to the red zone. And now we are in really makeable field goal range, but we're getting even closer as Jacobs will set us up. Running the football once again is Thomas Deshaun. Flag on the play, but he's in for the touchdown. But this one's coming back. Deshaun thought he had the go-ahead touchdown, the game-winning touchdown. But unfortunately, this one's coming back, and maybe it's not so bad as you'd like to just kind of hold it for a field goal try. But instead, we will run it with Jacobs, who gets to the outside, and Josh Jacobs will get brought down. And we are one play away from setting this up as Jacobs will have a carry to the 11-yard line. And we now will throw the football. Deshaun just wants to kind of run some time off the clock, and he just throws it out of bounds. It'll be a short field goal try. Kick is on the way, and the Raiders take the lead with 3 seconds to go. Kick is away. Just make the tackle and we win. And the Raiders are 6-6 on the season. And a big time comeback with 5 to go, down by 2 scores. And the Raiders and probably pull it off as that drive with about 5 to go by Deshaun. That was incredible. He was running wild. He hit that throw to Michael Mayer. And then that throw to Jaden Sharew. So much confidence to put the ball up there for Sharew in double, triple coverage. And he caught that football. I still can't believe that play. That's going to go down as one of the plays of the year for the Raiders. And it helped give us the momentum we need to quickly score a touchdown and get the football back as the defense, did a really good job getting a 3-and-out. Max Crosby with a clutch sack, and Southward with that great pass breakup. But an exciting game for the Raiders as we hang on, and it will be 6-6 for us on the season. Now let's move on to some more fun news as we have the college football update up next. This is your college football update for weeks 9 and 10 of the college football season, and we once again have a big time shakeup at the top of the polls as number 4 Penn State in week 10 goes down to number 14 Minnesota. As the polls reflect, Minnesota is all the way up to number 7. Penn State drops to number 8, and it was a 38-35 game as the Penn State defense, despite being the best defense in the nation, arguably did let them down a bit in that game. And Penn State now finds themselves on the outside looking in, not only of a potential college football playoff appearance, but now they are no longer maybe the favorites in the Big Ten, as Minnesota has surged out of nowhere to get to 8-1 on the season. But as we backtrack a little bit, let's go to week 9, where we had Kansas State upsetting Texas. Texas, number 10 in the nation, picks up their first loss of the season, goes down to 14, and Kansas State cracks the top 25 for the first time this year at a 6-win to 3-loss record, as they are having a good turnaround season. We have Missouri upsetting Alabama. Alabama, who was number 8, goes down to Missouri, who last year was a really strong team, started their season like 7-0. This year kind of fallen off a little bit on the defensive side without Gabe Marietta, and now they find themselves back in the top 25. So we go to week 10, USC dominant as ever as they pick up a win over Washington pretty easily. They dropped about 50 points on them. And Illinois beat Ohio State, and Ohio State now has lost 2 of their last 3 games, and they find themselves outside of the top 15. So Ohio State is struggling big time. But we now look ahead to weeks 11 and 12, where we have Texas versus Iowa State. Even though Texas is coming off of a loss, it is still number 14 versus number 4. It's a big time game. Ohio State will be taking on Minnesota, and we'll see if Ohio State can get back on track after their losing streak. But it won't be any easier as you're facing Minnesota, who's hotter than ever. TCU will take on Texas A&M, and in week 12 we have UCLA versus Arizona State. And, we'll keep up a little bit on Northern Illinois, who's taking on Bowling Green, who's the best team in the MAC aside from them. So we'll have a little bit of news on that game. Now let's get into some of these players, and this week, I will tell you, it's finally the week where we talk about Raleigh Cordula. That'll be the main event of our, trio of players that we usually do. So stay tuned for that. But up first, I talked about Kansas State and how they took down Texas. They've had a bit of a turnaround season, and it is a big part due to Raj Lucia. And he is exactly the type of player that Texas does not want to see. Texas has had a dominant rushing attack the last 2 years behind the best offensive line in all of college football for the past 2 years, with guys like A.J. Perkins going to the league, and we have a player who we'll be talking about in the next episode, most likely, or one of the next 2 episodes, of another offensive lineman for Texas. But not only is he a player that Texas doesn't want to see, he's a player that the Raiders definitely want to see on their team, and seen a little bit of a player like him in Vita Vea. As a 6'5", 342-pound Raj Lucia is this year's premier nose tackle stuffer, space eater in the middle of the field, and he is exactly what this run defense has needed. Just a presence in the middle, and he very much is in the range for us to potentially draft a mid to late first round guy. So he is in our window of players, so you could be seeing the Raiders be prioritizing a guy like Raj Lucia. Keep an eye out for him. But as we get into him as a player, I mean, he's just a run stuffer. He is a space eater. He eats up those double teams and allows everyone around him to basically get one-on-ones. He has helped elevate this Kansas State defense as he broke out this year. As you can see, last year he still had 18 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, but he's really gotten better as, not just a space eater, but he has gotten a little bit better at his pass rushing, as he is on pace to eclipse his 3.5 sacks from last year. He still is not an amazing pass rusher, and you don't expect that, and I think that's a minor knock. I don't think that you're drafting this dude to be a pass rusher, of course, but obviously you'd always like to see guys become better pass rushers in a pass-heavy league. Now, another negative on him is just look at the history of big nose tackles and these big guys that get drafted. Vita Vea is an exception, but he is not the rule. You've seen guys, especially if you are a Browns fan or keep up with the Browns and their history of looking for these big guys. I mean, last year they drafted Siaki Ika, in years past, Phil Taylor, Danny Shelton. I mean, they always are going after these big, just nose tackles, and all of them never really pan out. And it's really hard to get a player like this at this size, this talented. It's hard to get them, and they don't often pan out. So it is a risk inherently. And obviously a player like this needs to fall into the right team, the right system. But once again, you think of what Todd Bowles did with Vita Vea in Tampa Bay. Todd Bowles, now our defensive coordinator, could be looking for a Vita Vea of his own. So I think this is a player very high on the Raiders draft board. And as for his positives, I mean, we already talked about how he eats up the space, but he is also a high motor, high effort, just for a guy that big, he should be getting more tired than he is, but he often doesn't go off the field. I mean, he is, trying to work himself into being a 3-down player, and we hope he doesn't work himself to, full exhaustion, but I mean, he's a great player, and he's definitely one of, I'd say, like the top 5 guys on the Raiders draft board, so really keep an eye out for him. And now we take a step back into the secondary as Joel Covington, once again of the Cyclones of Iowa State, another one of the players from Iowa State, the number 4 ranked team in the country. We are talking about a team that is pumping out day 2 and day 3 prospects like just no other team in the college football right now. And he's just another really nice piece of a defense. And that is what Iowa State has, a bunch of pieces, a bunch of guys who I think translate to the NFL pretty well, and guys who are not going to be first-round picks most likely. I mean, just another piece, and he is rangy, he is speedy, he is sideline to sideline at 6 feet tall, and the ability to just fly from sideline to sideline and always attack the ball. He is just one of those players who is always in the right place at the right time. I mean, they say if you always attack the ball, you're always around the ball, good things happen. And for Covington, that is definitely the case, as good things always happen to him as he is flying up and down the field. But I think, I'm saying that, and I'm not really saying much else about him because he's not a great tackler. He's, a little frail at 190 pounds. You'd like to see him bulk up a little bit, especially if you do want him playing, other roles in the defense aside from just the center field safety. I don't see why you would take him to try and play him anywhere else. I mean, he's just a great zone cover center field safety, a guy who you can leave alone up top while you have your other safety in the box. So I think he does fit some of these teams in the NFL that have these in the box safeties. That's why I say Quandre Diggs, because you see how Quandre Diggs plays when he has Jamal Adams lurking around the box, and I think the Seahawks would be a good fit among other teams. But he's just not a guy you can play in the box. He's not a guy who's going to make tackles. He's going to get shrugged off. He's not the strongest, so I think that is where his ceiling is limited. He can obviously increase his ceiling if he increases his strength and gets better at tackling and gets better at those things, but day one, you're just getting a really reliable, good center field zone safety. So, I mean, not bad for a guy who you might be taking in the third round. But how about our main event, a player that I have talked about essentially from the very first college football update, last season. This is the most hyped up player in this series, the guy, Raleigh Cordula. And we have a lot to talk about with this guy because, I mean, he is insanely good. And last year at USC, his numbers, you see them, not game-changing to the point where I am hyping him up the way I am. His numbers don't reflect that last year. That's because USC had awful quarterback play, if you remember, and the big story of this college football season is getting a transfer quarterback from the transfer portal in Lance Bowen, who's going to probably be the number one quarterback taken in this upcoming year's draft. Cordula basically recruited him and endorsed him coming to USC because he wanted a good quarterback and he wanted to go win a national title, and he knew that the team was good enough, they just needed a quarterback. Lance Bowen bought in, and right now they're the number one team in the country, and Raleigh Cordula's already, I think, eclipsed his numbers from last year, and we still have a couple games left in the season. He is incredible, and I don't need to talk about weaknesses because I just don't think there are any significant weaknesses in his game. I think he is the best prospect at wide receiver since at least the man I am comparing him to, and that is Julio Jones. Now, I said even further back you can go, he's maybe the best receiver prospect since Calvin Johnson. If you wanted, you're debating between what Raleigh Cordula is he a better prospect than Julio Jones, or is he just as good as Julio Jones as a prospect? Either way, you're getting a guy who I am certain, barring injury, barring crazy circumstances, is a top 10, top 5 receiver in the league at his best, at his prime, maybe the best receiver in the league. And in this type of day and age in the NFL, as long as he just gets a guy who can get him the football, a Hall of Fame level player. And I think he does everything. He catches everything thrown his way. He has a crazy catch radius. Think of what Julio Jones did for Matt Ryan when he just had, it didn't matter where he was on the field or where you put the ball, he was just able to contort his body in crazy ways to make catches that no other human should be making, and Cordula does a lot of that. He doesn't, I don't think, possess quite the speed that Julio does, but Julio, I don't think it's that far off. He is, I think, just a smidge less athletic than Julio, but has all of the contortionist hands catch radius that Julio has, and is, just so clutch. And also, one thing that Julio Jones was incapable of doing, and it wasn't his fault completely, Julio Jones was never a guy who got a lot of touchdowns in his career. I think that's where Cordula has him beat. I think Cordula is a better red zone receiver than Julio Jones, and I think that you are just getting a crazy player. I can't say enough good things about him. I mean, I think he's the only player I've given, maybe I gave it to Trombetta last year, but he might be the only player I've given an A+ potential to. And an A- impact grade, I mean, that is high praise. He's the Heisman favorite. He does everything great. I'd say his weakest point is maybe run after the catch, where he's only just above average. I can't really say a whole lot more about him because I'd just be sitting here telling you things that you know how good he is, and I've talked about him for about 15 episodes now. He's going to be special. I'm not going to be shocked if he's the number 1 overall pick at receiver and he breaks the trend of wide receivers not getting picked number 1 overall. If I were a team just taking the best player available in the draft, I'm taking Raleigh Cordula. And it kind of does stink. If there's one negative about us, the Raiders at 6-6, we are in no position to get Raleigh Cordula. We would have to trade up for him. But if we ever play him, we're going to play that game, and we're gonna have a lot of fun watching this dude's career unfold. Raleigh Cordula is going to be so incredible, and I cannot wait to see what he does in the NFL. And I hope that he gets a quarterback and he gets a team that can utilize him properly, because we are talking about one of the greatest receiver prospects to ever step foot on the NFL field. But that will do it for the college football update. As you take a look at the standings a little bit, just thought I'd show you that, as it is a very, very tight AFC race, and in the NFC, the Buccaneers look like they could be getting the number 1 overall pick again. But in the next episode, we have a very fun game to jump into, as in the next episode, we'll be taking on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in an incredibly fun matchup between the best dual threat quarterback in the NFL versus maybe the next best dual threat quarterback in the NFL. It's going to be a fun one, and we'll see if the Raiders can get above 500 in the next episode. I will see you in the next one.